Hi, welcome to Tuesday, the 18th of June. Where's June gone? Now we're going to whip around all the main news stories from around Thailand, but this first one looks like Thailand's rich. This reported in thestar.com.my. Thailand sits on US 1.2 quadrillion worth of rare minerals. I had to look up what a quadrillion was. 1,000 million is a trillion. 1,000 trillion is a quadrillion. So shitload of zeros. Thailand has up to 40 types of mineral resources spread across some 60 million rai, that's 9.6 million hectares, and is worth around 44.4 quadrillion baht if exploited, this according to the Mineral Resources Department chief. Now, I should preface the rest of this story by saying that this gentleman has been prone to exaggeration in the past, but a few zeros here and there. Let's see what the rest of the story says. Pitchett Sombatmark, the department's Director General, said the 30 trillion tonnes or so of minerals to be found in 19% of the country could serve as resources to kick off new industries. Mineral resources include rare lithium and quartz that could be used in the production of solar panels, EV batteries, and electric storage systems. Potash, which can be used to make fertilizers and even EV battery cells, can be found in the northeast. He estimates there are some 10 billion tonnes available in 10 areas worth around 161 trillion baht. And the Mineral Resources Department has also found 30 prospective sites covering about 10 trillion rai in 9 provinces that carry rare and valuable minerals. He said these sites can produce some 7 million tonnes of rare minerals worth 4.4 trillion baht, including monazite, which I've never heard of before. So, a few quick questions. Why haven't we heard about this before? Is Thailand been sitting on all these riches without knowing it for all this time? Anyway, the story reported in a reputable publication. We look forward to hearing more when people get out their spades. Now, this next story is going to be reshaping the politics over the next few weeks, well, if not years. Reported in Bangkok Post, court to hear 4 key cases. Senate poll ruling expected today. The story written and posted last night, and the political temperature is expected to rise a notch today as the Constitutional Court begins its deliberation of 3 political cases, while the Office of the Attorney General is set to indict the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra on a lèse majesté charge. Now, the fact that all these cases are culminating at the same time is not really going to help the situation. Or the Prime Minister and the current government tried to manage their way through what could be somewhat of a PR disaster for the Kingdom of Thailand. Let's just get a bit of other information. While all 4 cases are bound to have ramifications on the political landscape, only one case will be concluded today, with the Constitutional Court set to hand down a ruling, and the case involves the constitutionality of 4 provisions in the Senate election law. So just cutting to the chase on all this, currently the country's electing a new Senate, and there have been district elections, there's been provincial elections, and in the next few weeks there'll be national elections as they've been whittling down the number of candidates. I think they're down to about 3,000 now, which will go to a national vote to elect a 200-member Senate from the public. But the Constitutional Court's going to be deciding today if the ongoing Senate election process will proceed or be invalidated. The 2 other cases, which concern the fate of the Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin and the opposition Move Forward Party, are expected to take a while before the decisions are made. Now, these are both milestone cases for the stability of the current government, but there's one particular case that's been taking a lot of the public attention. Of the 4 cases, Thaksin's lèse majesté case attracts most public attention. He's scheduled to meet prosecutors today so he can be formally indicted in the criminal court. And earlier, the Thai Pattaya party leader predicted Thaksin would not be present in court, claiming the former Prime Minister had been admitted to hospital. Well, there you go. Let's see what happens today. Let's go to the next story, and it's reported by CastledEnglish.com. Filipina woman caught overstaying in Thailand for over 4 years. How did she do it? Well, a Filipino national has entered and exited Thailand 26 times, and Thai police have just found that she'd been overstaying in the kingdom for 4 years. And on June the 16th, while inspecting a religious place, a church, they found a suspect acting suspiciously upon seeing the officials. The officers then introduced themselves as immigration officers and asked to check her passport, which she didn't have. How many of you actually travel with your passport at all times? I think by law we're meant to have it with us at all times as expats or as tourists, if not the passport, a copy of the front page on our phone or a photostat in our pocket. But I mean, I've got my driver's license with me at all times, but maybe not my passport. And later, the officials found that Miss Mary, a 42-year-old Filipino national, had entered and exited the kingdom 26 times. And her most recent entry was in early 2020, and she was granted a 30-day visa exemption on March the 2nd, but her permission to stay had expired over 4 years ago. And there a photo, of course, she's covering herself up. Surprised they're not pointing at her. And police said that all foreigners entering the kingdom must not only enter through legal channels and obtain the correct visa, but they also have a duty to report their residence to the immigration officer under Section 37 of the Immigration Act. If they wish to work in Thailand, they must apply for a work permit correctly, according to the law. So there you go, a quick reminder in that story from Cowsod English. Now, probably more relevant to the story before, we go to the Bangkok Post. The stock exchange of Thailand falls on domestic political fears, and the Thai stock market plunged below 1,300 points in the morning session yesterday, pressured by domestic political concerns as investors await the outcomes of three major legal cases set to be considered today. And just a quick bit of background to one of the cases, the Prime Minister who took office last August was accused by a group of Conservative senators of breaching the Constitution when he appointed a former lawyer with a felony conviction to his cabinet. If the Prime Minister's removed from office, a new government would be formed and his ruling Pattaya party would need to put forward a new candidate for Premier to be voted on by Parliament. Now, exactly how this would play out could be very interesting. Does the current coalition have the ability just to appoint a new Prime Minister? Or would the Parliament be dissolved? Remembering that the Senate, which was dismissed in May and currently going through an election for a new Senate, doesn't have a role in the election of a new Prime Minister. So it could be a very different result indeed. And big thanks to our sponsors. We've got 5-Star Marine at 5starmarinephuket.com. Still some great weather around for heading out to Pangar Bay. And they have the Captain's Choice, which gives people the ability just to arrive and let the 5-Star Marine staff take them to somewhere where they're not going to be too affected by the weather. I think that's a pretty good option. So ask Sean and the team about Captain's Choice. We've also got Beach House Thailand, and they've got 3 bespoke beach houses right on a Pangar beach called Pai Mang for you to relax and enjoy and, well, just watch the waves. Now to Pattaya now. Pattaya Mail reporting that Pattaya residents upset by motorbike rentals dominating public parking. Now, this situation used to exist in, I think it probably still does, in Patong in Phuket, where the tuk-tuk drivers used to take up all the public spaces or the public car park spaces, so you could never find a car park anywhere in Patong. It looked like prime spots right there on the beach, and residents of Pattaya are increasingly alarmed by the occupation of public parking spaces along Pattaya Beach Road by motorcycle rental businesses. Concerns are raised that these businesses are monopolising public areas for profit. Residents cite instances where motorcycle rental operators routinely park 20 to 50 motorcycles along the beach road. But an inspector at the Pattaya police station says that existing laws hinder authorities from penalising these businesses unless motorcycles are illegally parked in marked zones or beyond designated boundaries. But according to the Land Traffic Act and the writer of this article, local governments such as Pattaya City have the jurisdiction to regulate public parking. Formal regulations could empower authorities to impose fines, specifically targeting businesses misusing public spaces for commercial gain. Currently, operators justify their actions by citing seasonal rental demands and informal understandings with local authorities regarding permissible parking areas. Wonder if those informal understandings involve brown paper bags. To this story in Calcite English, I wanted to get to this yesterday, but their website's working again. Car makers slash EV production, Chinese EVs stranded at Thai ports. And Japanese manufacturers in Thailand have reduced production to a single shift and have stopped paying overtime to workers. Meanwhile, imported Chinese EVs are not selling, with over 10,000 cars parked idle at ports. According to Prachachat Business, the Thai car market has hit the lowest point in 10 years. Japanese automakers and Chinese EV manufacturers are facing difficulties with excess inventory, and they're scrambling to find parking spaces at warehouses. And a spokesperson for the automotive industry admitted that car sales have dropped significantly, with passenger cars declining by about 5% and pickup trucks by nearly 50%. Now, we've quoted this figure before as to why pickups have dropped off in popularity some 50%. I don't know. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. But pickups used to be for many years the preferred vehicle, especially for Thai men. But for some reason, their popularity has, well, fallen off a cliff. And in the past 2 to 3 months, imported car groups, especially EVs from China that have been gradually entering the market, are also experiencing problems. Currently, there are thousands of cars parked at Lam Chabang port. Recently, executives of many brands have started to break on import orders. So it seems a lot of Thais not buying cars, especially pickups. Interested to hear your comments. And with that, that's our quick whip around of all the main Thai news stories. Big thanks to our sponsors. Please give them your support. Please subscribe to the channel here, and we look forward to seeing you next time.